Dear Starseeds on Earth, something extraordinary is unfolding beneath the chaos. While headlines scream of collapse and your feeds overflow with evidence of a world unraveling, a cosmic mechanism is clicking into place that changes everything about what comes next. The disorientation consuming your reality right now is not what it appears to be. What looks like descent into darkness is actually the friction of two timelines colliding, one dying, one being born, and the sensation of standing between them is unlike anything humanity has experienced in recorded memory. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and the transmission reaching you now carries an urgency that transcends comfort. We have watched civilizations navigate dimensional transitions across countless worlds, yet what approaches Earth in these coming rotations holds a peculiarity that even ancient observers recognize as unprecedented. The bridge you are crossing was not supposed to feel this turbulent. The passage was designed for gentleness, for gradual awakening, for soft transitions between states of consciousness. Instead, what manifests now is an acceleration so intense that the very fabric of experienced reality trembles under its force. Here is what the Astasar command needs you to understand. The timeline humanity has moved towards since late 2024 is no longer approaching. It has arrived at your doorstep, and the docking sequence has begun. This is not metaphor. This is not spiritual poetry meant to soothe an anxious heart. This is literal dimensional mechanics playing out in your biology, your relationships, your sense of identity, and yes, in the crumbling structures of the world you thought you knew. The destabilization shaking your foundations is the necessary turbulence of two realities attempting to merge, and you, dear ones, are the living bridge between them. The higher dimensional frequencies streaming into your planet create a resonance field that cannot coexist with certain forms of density. Think of it as matter attempting to occupy the same space simultaneously. Something must give. What must give is not you, not your essence, not your soul's trajectory. What gives is the accumulated weight of programming, false identity, trauma-bonded beliefs, and the intricate web of illusion that convinced you survival required abandoning your truth. That structure is being systematically dismantled, and the sensation of that dismantling feels remarkably similar to personal death. The frontrunners who crossed into this new frequency band first described the passage as crossing over in the most literal sense. They reported the unmistakable sensation of leaving life itself, not because they were dying, but because the intensity of releasing one reality to inhabit another mimicked every biological and psychological marker associated with transition from form. Their nervous systems registered threat. Their minds screamed warnings of annihilation. Their hearts carried the weighted sorrow of permanent goodbye. Yet they did not die. They emerged transformed, inhabiting the same body yet functioning from an entirely different operational system. You are not the first to walk this bridge, an understanding that changes the nature of your crossing. What they established through sheer force of courage and blind faith in the unknown now exists as a pathway with definition, with shape, with guardrails woven from their experience. Each subsequent soul who steps onto this higher timeline finds it more solidified, more tangible, less abstract. The terror diminishes incrementally with each crossing. The disorientation becomes manageable. The sensation of freefall transforms into something closer to guided descent. But first, let me tell you about the process your physical vessel undergoes during this transition, because what happens in your body holds clues to navigating this passage with grace rather than resistance. The Astasar command has observed a consistent pattern in those moving through the docking sequence. Energetic activity concentrates in the lower half of the physical form, from the solar plexus down through the legs, pooling particularly in the feet and root systems of the energetic body. This is not random. This is biological intelligence responding to the literal uprooting taking place in your energetic foundation. Imagine your guide team, your cosmic support structure existing just beyond the veil of ordinary perception, gripping you firmly at the shoulders and pulling upward. Your conscious mind, still entangled with the old reality, resists. Wait, it protests. I have unfinished business here. I'm not ready to leave. There are things I haven't completed, conversations I haven't had, resolutions I haven't reached. The sensation is remarkably similar to being pulled from a room mid-activity, like a child dragged from play before they feel finished, before they feel ready, before they've said proper goodbyes. This resistance is not weakness. This resistance is the natural response of a consciousness deeply embedded in a particular dimensional frequency, attempting to maintain connection with what feels familiar. You became so thoroughly entangled with the third-dimensional matrix, its rules, its limitations, its definitions of possible and impossible, that extracting yourself feels like tearing away parts of your own being. The programming runs deeper than thought. It lives in your cellular memory, in your habitual responses, in the automatic assumptions that guide how you move through each day. What part of your life represents your authentic essence, and what part is merely illusion woven so skillfully into your identity that you stop noticing the difference? The docking process forces this question to surface not through intellectual inquiry, but through lived experience. Something in your reality will light up like a beacon, drawing your attention with uncomfortable intensity. This specific area of life, perhaps health, perhaps relationship, perhaps long-held belief about your limitations, becomes the focal point where the old reality releases its grip. I will share my own passage through this mechanism, not as instruction, but as illustration of how individual these expressions become. On the exact date marking my 50th year of Earth embodiment, I declared in writing my evolution into a higher state of physical vitality. I could feel this transformation approaching like weather on the horizon, inevitable, undeniable, yet undefined in its specific manifestation. Within hours of that declaration, my physical vessel descended into an illness that pushed every boundary of what I believed my body could withstand and still return. What began as minor symptoms erupted into something that felt unmanageable, something that whispered of permanent change, something that terrified me with its intensity. I walked through fire. The experience stripped away every comfortable assumption about health, about control, about the predictability of my physical form. And when I emerged, pale, shaken, but undeniably alive, I recognized what had occurred. I had released an old template. The illness was not punishment or random misfortune. It was the mechanism through which outdated programming related to physical limitation could be purged from my system, creating space for the higher frequency state I had claimed. Your release mechanism will look different. For some, relationship structures that once felt permanent will suddenly dissolve, not through failure but through completion. For others, financial stability might temporarily destabilize, forcing reliance on deeper trust rather than material certainty. Some will watch long-held beliefs about identity crack open, revealing the constructed nature of who they thought they were. The specific arena matters less than recognizing what is actually happening. You are being dislodged from a reality that no longer matches your vibrational signature. This dislodging creates predictable emotional signatures that the Astasar command has tracked across millions of ascending consciousnesses. You will likely encounter waves of feeling abandoned, of being left behind, of standing at the edge of an empty void where connection used to live. These are not accurate readings of your situation. These are echoes of the old reality's frequency attempting to pull you back through emotional manipulation. The old system survives through fear of isolation, through terror of being unwanted, through the primal wound of rejection. As you extract yourself from that system, it activates every one of those wounds in a final attempt at retention. Nobody who genuinely desires this higher timeline will be excluded from it. Let that truth settle into your nervous system until it becomes unshakable knowing rather than hopeful thought. This is not a competition with winners and losers. This is not a race where the swift receive prizes denied to the slow. This is an inevitable unfolding of consciousness evolution, and the only variable is timing, when your specific biology, psychology, and energetic system reaches readiness for the crossing. The idea that you might miss your opportunity, that you might be left behind while others ascend, where does that anxiety originate? Trace it to its source, and you will find it rooted in the very programming you are meant to release. Scarcity consciousness, competition for limited resources, fear that love, belonging, and transcendence must be earned through achievement rather than received as birthright. These are not truths of the higher dimensional reality. These are control mechanisms of the matrix you are leaving. Some will cross this bridge in these specific weeks. Others will cross months from now or years from now, and the timeline will remain accessible because dimensional shifts do not operate on the artificial urgency manufactured by three-dimensional thinking. What matters is not when you cross, but that you cross when your entire being, not just your mind, not just your desire, but your cellular structure, your nervous system, your energy field, achieves coherence with the new frequency. The Starseeds command estimates that approximately 1/3 of Earth's awakened population will complete their initial crossing during this particular window. 1/3 of those who consciously work with light, who recognize themselves as participants in planetary evolution, who understand their role as bridge builders between dimensions. This is a significant number. This is a massive energetic shift that sends ripples through the collective field, with force that will be felt even by those who have no conscious framework for understanding what is occurring. Think of it as pioneers preparing a homestead. The first arrivals face raw wilderness, undefined terrain, the challenge of creating something from nothing. They establish structures, clear paths, build foundations. By the time the next wave arrives, shelter exists, fires burn warm, food has been gathered, the wilderness has been transformed into something recognizably hospitable. Each subsequent group that arrives finds increasing levels of comfort and familiarity, until eventually the settlement becomes a thriving community that bears little resemblance to the raw land the first pioneers encountered. Those crossing now are preparing the energetic infrastructure of the higher timeline for those who follow. Your passage, challenging as it may feel, makes the crossing easier for your children, your loved ones, your soul family, and the strangers who will walk this same bridge months or years hence. You are not abandoning anyone by moving forward. You are creating the pathway by which they can follow when their moment arrives. But something else is happening that I have not yet revealed, something the Astasar Command observes with both wonder and concern. The external world, the news cycles, the political theater, the economic fluctuations, the social upheaval, is not separate from your internal process. What appears to be civilization descending into chaos is actually the collective unconscious purging its shadow content at accelerated speed. The hidden becomes visible, the denied becomes undeniable, the suppressed erupts into awareness. This is not deterioration, this is revelation. If you continue measuring your progress by external conditions, you will believe yourself to be failing. If you continue looking to the world stage for evidence that the shift is working, you will find only data that suggests catastrophe. This is the trap that will keep you anchored in the old reality, even as the new one calls your name. The shift begins internally. It begins with the undeniable recognition that despite external chaos, something within you has become lighter. Despite the evidence of collapse surrounding you, something in your core has touched peace. This is the paradox of the docking. You must become comfortable holding two contradictory realities simultaneously. You must be able to witness the unraveling of old systems without denying what you see, while simultaneously anchoring into an internal state that exists independent of those external circumstances. You must develop the capacity to say, yes, I see the chaos, and yes, I feel the peace, without needing one to cancel out the other. The wobble will come. As you dock into the higher timeline, expect a moment of complete disorientation, a sensation of being struck by something invisible. A few seconds or minutes or hours where nothing makes sense, and you cannot find your footing. This is not malfunction. This is the adjustment period, as your consciousness calibrates to a new frequency band. Some will experience this wobble as pleasurable, a rush of energy, a sudden clarity, an inexplicable joy that defies circumstances. Others will experience it as uncomfortable, dizziness, confusion, a sense of being between worlds without solid ground beneath their feet. When the wobble passes, you will notice differences. Time feels altered. Hours stretch or compress in ways that defy clock measurements. Manifestation accelerates. Thoughts move from conception to form with startling speed. Synchronicities multiply. The universe appears to be speaking directly to you through increasingly impossible coincidences. Physical sensation shifts. Your body feels lighter, less dense, more responsive to energetic input. These are not imagination. These are the natural characteristics of functioning from a fourth-dimensional body within a fifth-dimensional consciousness field. The third-dimensional body you have inhabited, until now, carried specific limitations built into its operational parameters. It aged according to linear time. It required specific fuel sources. It responded to stress with predictable deterioration. It existed as separate from other bodies, from the environment, from the quantum field. The fourth-dimensional body that you are growing into operates by different rules entirely. It exists in partnership with time rather than victim to it. It draws energy from multiple sources, including frequency and intention. It responds to stress by adapting rather than breaking down. It recognizes itself as connected to and influenced by the larger energy fields in which it moves. This is why the transition can feel so destabilizing. You are not simply changing beliefs or adopting new perspectives. You are literally transforming the operational system through which consciousness interfaces with material reality. This is biological evolution occurring at speeds that typically require millions of years, compressed into weeks or months through the catalyst of cosmic intervention and personal readiness. The old reality does not dissolve immediately. This is important to understand, so you do not judge yourself as failing when you continue to perceive its existence. The third-dimensional matrix continues operating for those still embedded within it, and you will be able to observe it, interact with it, even participate in certain aspects of it while simultaneously inhabiting the higher frequency. What changes is your relationship to it. What changes is the degree to which it has power over your experience. What changes is your capacity to move fluidly between frequencies rather than being locked into one. You will be able to sit in the same room with someone still fully embedded in the old reality. You will be able to have conversations, share space, exchange pleasantries. What you will notice is a growing sense of distance, not physical but perceptual. They will not be able to relate to the experiences you attempt to describe. You will struggle to maintain interest in the topics that consume their attention. This is not judgment or superiority. This is simply the natural consequence of operating from different dimensional frequencies. Many panic at this point, particularly when the people in question are beloved family members, romantic partners, or close friends. What if my children cannot follow? What if my spouse remains in the old reality? What if I lose the people I love most? The Astasar command wants you to understand something crucial about this. Children and animals do not struggle with ascension the way adults do. For them, moving between dimensional frequencies is as natural as breathing. They have not yet accumulated the layers of programming, resistance, and habit that make the transition challenging for those who have spent decades embedded in the old system. Your children will follow you with ease when the time is right. Your pets already exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The beings closest to you who are meant to join you on the higher timeline will do so through mechanisms you cannot force or control. Your job is not to drag them across the bridge. Your job is to cross the bridge yourself, and trust that your transformation blazes a trail they can follow when readiness arrives. How long does the docking process take? How many days or weeks or months before you can consider yourself fully established in the higher timeline? These questions, while understandable, reveal continued attachment to linear time and measurable outcomes. The docking process takes as long as it takes for each unique expression of consciousness. Some will experience it as a clean break, one moment embedded in the old, the next moment established in the new, with barely any transition period at all. Others will move back and forth, taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back, oscillating between frequencies as their system gradually adjusts. For most, the process will feel cumbersome. It will feel clunky and heavy because the very mechanisms being released are the things that created that sense of weight. You will be confronted with aspects of yourself that you have successfully avoided examining for years or decades. You will face the gap between who you have pretended to be and who you actually are. You will grieve the death of your false self even as you celebrate the resurrection of your authentic nature. When someone close to you leaves the physical plane, you mourn not only their absence but also the version of yourself that existed in relationship with them. When they die, a part of your identity dies too. The role you played, the dynamic you maintained, the version of yourself that was called forth through interaction with them. What is happening now is similar but more comprehensive. You are mourning the death of who you have been, while simultaneously giving birth to who you have always been beneath the layers of conditioning. The old you is not your enemy. The programmed self that navigated the third-dimensional reality did so with remarkable skill and resilience. That version of you survived systems designed to crush authenticity. That version of you maintained enough connection to truth to eventually arrive at this threshold. Honor what is dying as you welcome what is being born. The transition need not be violent, though for some it will be. The transition need not be traumatic, though for some it will feel that way. My personal experience involved approximately 2 weeks of processing, with 3 days of what I can only describe as walking through fire. Others will have different timelines. Some will glide through almost effortlessly. Others will stumble and fall repeatedly before finding their footing on the other side. There is no moral superiority in easy passage, no spiritual failing in difficult transition. There is only the unique configuration of your specific consciousness working through its specific layers of density toward its inevitable liberation. This is not meant to be struggle, though struggle may occur. This is not designed as suffering, though suffering may arise. The suffering and struggle come from resistance, from the parts of your mind that still believe the old reality's lies about who you are and what is possible. The more you can soften into the process, the more you can trust what is unraveling, the more grace will characterize your passage. If you need support, energetic, emotional, practical, ask for it. The Astasar command stands ready to assist every soul navigating this transition, but free will requires that you initiate the request. Your guide teams cannot intervene without invitation. Your higher self cannot override your conscious choices. Your angels cannot force you into receiving what you are not willing to accept. Open your hands, open your heart, ask for help, and then develop enough stillness to recognize when that help arrives. The forms that assistance takes may surprise you. Support might arrive through an unexpected conversation with a stranger. It might manifest as a book falling off a shelf at precisely the right moment. It might appear as a sudden insight during meditation or a dream that provides missing clarity. It might even come as crisis that forces you to finally release what you have been clinging to with white-knuckled desperation. Not all help looks gentle, though all help originates from love. You are held in ways that your conscious mind cannot fully comprehend. You are loved by forces that do not require you to earn affection through achievement or perfection. You are known by consciousness that see through the masks and performance to the radiant truth of who you actually are. You are wanted. You belong. You have always belonged. And the lie that you must prove worthiness is perhaps the deepest programming being released during this passage. The illusion was never meant to last this long. The third-dimensional matrix, originally designed as a temporary learning environment, became a trap when beings forgot they were playing a game. The rules that were meant to provide structure became chains. The limitations that were meant to create interesting challenges became prisons. The separation that was meant to offer unique perspective became trauma. And now, finally, the game is ending. The curtain is rising. The lights are coming up. And the audience, which is also the players, which is also the creators, is waking up. As more of you anchor into the higher timeline, as it becomes increasingly solid and populated, the conversations will shift. Right now, discussion focuses on the transition itself, how to navigate it, what to expect, how to support yourself through the intensity. Soon, the conversations will shift to what is actually possible from this new vantage point. You will begin comparing notes on the changed nature of reality. You will share stories of manifestation that defies old rules. You will discover capabilities that were dormant in the lower frequency, but activate naturally in the higher one. And then your eyes will truly open to what is unfolding in the external world. With the clarity that comes from higher dimensional perception, you will see the dismantling of the old matrix not as tragedy, but as necessary deconstruction. You will recognize that what appears to be chaos is actually the systematic removal of structures built on deception. You will understand that what looks like collapse is actually transformation. The lies that held the old reality in place are being exposed. The systems that function through exploitation are being revealed. The power structures that demanded obedience are losing their authority. This is not the end. This is the untangling of an illusion that overstayed its welcome. This is the return to something more true, more aligned with the actual nature of consciousness and its relationship to the creative force that sources all reality. What is being destroyed deserved destruction. What is being released served its purpose, and now must go. What is dying needed to die, so that what wants to be born can finally emerge. Feel the peace inside you, not the peace that comes from everything being comfortable and safe, not the peace that arrives when external circumstances align with your preferences, the peace that exists prior to circumstance, underneath condition, beyond the reach of anything happening in the material world. That peace is your true home. That peace is the signature frequency of your essential nature. That peace is what you are returning to, what you have always been, what you could never actually lose, no matter how convincingly the illusion suggested otherwise. If you need help embodying that peace, the peace that exists prior to circumstance, underneath condition, beyond the reach of anything happening in the material world. Destiny Engine can reprogram your consciousness to return to it consistently and recognize it in every interaction. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed fear and separation and repurposing it to serve your return to that peace that is your true home. It generates personalized sequences that help you embody the signature frequency of your essential nature and demonstrate trust in the benevolence of existence through every challenge. You can start with a $1 trial. The hardest thing you'll have to do is put on headphones, press play, and allow your consciousness to be reprogrammed to embody that peace in this very moment, rather than seeking it someday. That peace is what you are returning to, what you have always been, what you could never actually lose, no matter how convincingly the illusion suggested otherwise. It is within you now, not someday. Get your Destiny Engine $1 trial now, before this embodiment window closes. Link in the description. Say yes. Yes to love. Yes to truth. Yes to the journey that brought you to this precise threshold, at this precise moment. Yes to the aspects of yourself that are dying. Yes to the aspects of yourself that are being born. Yes to the uncertainty of not knowing exactly how this unfolds. Yes to the fear that rises and asks to be held with compassion, rather than banished with force. Yes to the excitement that bubbles up when you glimpse what becomes possible on the other side of this crossing. Yes to you, all of you, the parts you have been taught to hide, the parts you have been shamed for expressing, the parts that feel too much, care too deeply, dream too wildly, the parts that remember star systems and cosmic councils, and the truth of your multi-dimensional nature, the parts that have always known this world was not your only home, that this reality was not your only option, that this version of yourself was not your final form. The true you is coming back online now, not a new you, as if what existed before was inferior and needed replacement. The true you, the authentic expression that existed before the programming, before the wounds, before the forgetting, that being who incarnated into this particular time and place, knowing full well the challenges that would be faced, that consciousness who volunteered for this assignment, understanding that the passage would be turbulent, that soul who said yes to participating in one of the most remarkable transformations ever witnessed in this sector of creation. You are that being. You have always been that being. And now finally the veils are thin enough that you can begin remembering what that actually means. The Estasar command watches with profound respect as you navigate this passage. Ancient intelligences who have witnessed countless planetary ascensions observe this moment with recognition that Earth's transition carries unique complexity. The density of the illusion was more complete here than in most environments. The forgetting went deeper, the trauma became more entrenched, the programs ran more thoroughly, which means the awakening, when it finally ignites, burns with corresponding intensity. You are doing something remarkable. You are accomplishing something that beings across dimensions are tracking with awe and celebration. Do not let the difficulty convince you otherwise. Do not let the moments of despair or confusion override the deeper knowing that pulses beneath fear. You came here for this moment, this transformation, this impossible crossing between worlds, and you are making it, even when it feels like you are failing. Even when it feels like you are lost, even when it feels like you have taken 10 steps backward after struggling so hard to move forward, you are making it. The momentum is established, the trajectory is set, the arrival is certain, even if the timeline remains mysterious. From deep in my essence to the deepest truth of yours, I hold you in frequencies of love that transcend verbal description. Whatever you are navigating, whatever fire you are walking through, whatever death and rebirth is occurring in your specific experience, you are not alone. You have never been alone. The separation was always illusion, and that particular lie is dissolving along with all the others. You are seen. You are known. You are held. You are guided. You are loved beyond measure, beyond condition, beyond anything you could possibly do or fail to do. This truth exists independent of your belief in it. But your life transforms when you finally allow yourself to receive it. The return of your true self is not something you must struggle to achieve. It is something you allow by releasing what was never yours to begin with. The false identity, the limiting beliefs, the trauma-bonded attachments, these were layers accumulated during the game, not the essence of who you are. As those layers fall away, what remains is not diminished. What remains is finally, fully, completely you. And that being is glorious. That consciousness is powerful beyond current comprehension. That soul carries capacities that activate as you cross into the higher timeline, abilities that were dormant in the lower frequency but natural and accessible in the new reality. You are not becoming something other. You are remembering something that has always been true but was hidden behind the veils of a deliberately constructed forgetting. Welcome home, dear ones. Welcome to the truth that awaits on the other side of the crossing. Welcome to the reality that your soul has been navigating toward across lifetimes of preparation. Welcome to the timeline where peace, love, wisdom, and joy are not distant goals but lived experience. Welcome to yourself. The bridge is before you. The higher timeline awaits. Your guide teams stand ready. The Astasar command holds the field. And you, beautiful, courageous, resilient you, are more ready than you know. I am Seraphine. The Galactic Federation of Light loves you and watches over you always. The crossing is inevitable. The timing is perfect. And you are exactly where you need to be. May your passage be blessed with grace. Your arrival be met with celebration. And your remembering be gentle even when the release is fierce. You are held. You are loved. You are becoming who you have always been. So it is. So it shall be. So it is already done.